Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Drew. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, my goodness. On a Friday night at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Let's make it
It's like a happy hour.
Right? Where's your Cosmo?
I have my coffee cup full of water, just like this is a late night talk show.
Hello,
We'll just pretend it's coffee.
Okay.
Hello, lovers.
We have Drew. Hi, Drew. Oh, are you new here, Drew? If you're new here, please comment. I always have to remember this is also a podcast, so I cannot
Right.
fish and just be looking at the screen and just talking randomly because that will be rude. So, ladies and gentlemen, and all those who are in between, welcome to
Hex and the City.
Dun 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 dun. And then we have the water splash onto our tutu, and then we're all confused, looking like, what
just happened?
This is a
Why isn't my life as glamorous as I planned?
Right.
Oh, can we just talk about my hair? This is relevant because Carrie also has curly hair. Can we just talk about how great my hair looks today? Look at this. Look
beautiful.
at this. Look at this.
Beautiful.
Podcasters, you're just gonna have to trust me. These are some very well-nourished, well-hydrated curls.
You can hear the curl. Let's put it that way. You can hear
it.
You can hear it.
Hear it.
Close your eyes and you can hear the curl. That's all I'm going to say.
Unless you're driving, then just don't do that. Don't close your eyes and drive and imagine my hair. I often do, but I'm very lucky and very blessed.
Because you're a witch. That's why. Because you're a witch.
Oh my gosh.
Who do we have here? We have Miss Stella. Miss Stella Speak. This is episode number 3. So hopefully everybody knows who we are. But just in case we have new people, I am Y, aka Aquaricorn from On the Cusp Tarot. And we have my dear good friend, dear good witch here, Miss Stella.
Hello. Who you can find. Oh, go. Introduce me.
You introduce yourself. You do your work, girl.
The lovely and talented. Okay, so I have a podcast called Stella Speaks, which you can find on Apple. It's also available on Spotify and Podbean. And so the audio from these will be uploaded so that you can listen on the go.
Amazing. So the way that we do it live here on my channel on the Cusp Tarot on YouTube, and then we'll do some spell and magic, and magically it will go from here into the podcast universe, and you can listen to it. And for those who are watching right now, we have 9 whole people, a full house watching. We have Drew Zin here. Yep, I'm newish.
Oh, that's a friend.
Knew Stella personally and glad to finally catch her live. You are in for a treat, Mr. Drew. We have my dear friend, longtime supporter, Sugar Honey Iced Tea 2727. We have Lady Knight of Avalon. Of course, I love saying that name, Lady Knight of Avalon. We have Hector Roberta.
Hector Roberto Contreras Miranda.
Say that one more time, because I can never do that.
Hector Roberto Contreras Miranda.
That is music to my ear.
Isn't that so much fun? What a great name. And that you put it all. Just make us say it. Make us say all the words. I love it.
Hector Roberta Contreras Miranda. That's all.
That's the one.
All right. Without further ado,
and Lucy's here too.
Oh, duh. Oh my God. Lucy just popped up.
Luna.
Horrible Miss Lucy.
No, it's okay.
Lucy is an avid Sex and the City addict, just like us.
So we'll have the good commentary. So we'll be looking at these comments for that little extras.
Thank you so much. For the listener who are listening right now, it is Hex and the City, which we, Mr. Aquaricorn and Miss Stella, we are using our witchy names, talk about Sex and the City because we are addict. We are fans. We are, what is the other words? We are lovers of Sex and the City, the whole franchise. And we're going to talk about every single episode we aim to. So we fingers, thank you.
Putting that out, speaking, manifesting that.
Today we are talking about episode 3, season 1, episode 3, and the name of the episode is Bay of Married Pigs.
Indeed.
Immediately, we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna jump right in because I immediately thought of you. I was like, "Oh, girl, this talk is for you."
There's a lot to say, right?
Girl, I can only say from my single perspective, and that's all I'm gonna say. So the way that we're gonna structure the live podcast, is the first thing we do, because we want to tie in tarot and spell and witchiness. We're gonna draw a one card from our favorite tarot decks and oracle decks, and then we're gonna talk about the meaning with the card with that episode. So are we ready?
Yes. This is not a new deck, but it's new to me. I had the app version of it from Hay House and I liked it. And I have a good friend who's loved the Map Oracle by Colette Baron Reid forever, or the Enchanted Map Oracle. So I finally got myself a copy. So look, they're not even shuffled yet. 1, 2. Oh, I hope I get Gentle Gardener. I don't think so. Are you sticking with the Muse, or did you bring somebody else to the party?
I'm sticking with the Muse. I think the whole first season, I'm gonna stick with the Muse because it is still on that spectrum of figuring out. You know what I'm saying? This episode at first, when I watched the episode, I was like, is this the episode they changed the format that they don't look into the camera? And then halfway through, I'm like, nope, they're still doing that.
But they should they're really phasing it out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how intentional that is, that they were like, oh, we'll just slowly fade it out. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, there was just that one moment wasn't it just that one time with the lady at the bar with her husband?
Yeah.
Was the only one who's interviewed? Yeah.
Yeah, not the 4 main girls. It's just now the main girl kind of don't look at the camera anymore.
Right.
Okay. Lucy said cannot support CBR. Well,
I'm aware that there are some issues.
There are some issues, but
I don't know all the gossip. You guys know I'm not really as into all the deck world as you are.
The tarot drama. Creative Coffee is here, and Lisa is here. Hello, welcome aboard. Okay.
All right, I've got one. Whoops.
Okay. What do you have?
I have wishing. This is a good one. Wishing well reversed.
Which is?
So I don't know, because I've never used this deck, but just using my intuition. If you think about this episode, it's all about people's wishes, right? Like Charlotte wants to get married, and was it Sean wants to get married. Carrie's not sure. Everybody has their thing, and it's being blocked and impeded. I want to get along with my married friends. Oh, I want to be made partner, but for whatever reason, people aren't taking me seriously. So yeah. So to me, this is, you make the wish for the thing that you want, but it's blocked. That's how I'm choosing to read it. I'll look up the meaning for official while you talk about your tarot draw.
Mine is 8 of emotion, which is quite interesting, which is 8 of cups, right? Leaving shit behind, moving on, crossing that mountain, leaving all the emotional baggage. But with this card, look at her. She's all by herself. This, I feel like, really sums up the singleness of the episode. She just all by herself, the dark sun or the dark moon in the desert. I would say dark sun. Oh, the very dark sun, and then she just marching on all by herself. So I think this card represented the singleness of that. which is why which is kind of like the one single, the single versus the married, which sometimes
Right.
feels like I'm one and the married couple, the married world is, you know, the enemy. And then,
Yeah.
you know, walking along in the desert, which quite significantly feels, for me anyway, as a single man.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah. So I checked mine. It says, this is not the time to force anything to happen in your life, Sean. Especially whatever seems to be eluding you. You can't demand that the universe provide you with what you want. Unmet desires can burst into a destructive fire of obsession.
Ding, ding, ding.
Aww.
They do not lie. Tarot don't lie. Oracle don't lie. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. So let's jump right in, shall we?
Yes.
Comments right now. Drew said, I accidentally just drew 2, 3 of Wands and High Priestess for my girl. 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands, kind of like the 3 of Wands and High Priestess together. That's interesting. What's your take on it, Mr. Drew? Mr. Drew, comment down below. What have you watched the episode? Let's let's ask the people in the chat. If you have watched the episode, season 1, episode 3, comment down below. Whatever you want to say about the episode, go right in while we chat about that episode.
Yes. So I took my notes on my phone this time instead of on paper. So this is all very strange to me because you know how I'm not super techie. Okay, so this whole I just want to start it out with we have another moment that doesn't age well in 2020. When we start off with Peter and Peter, right? Like, I totally get Carrie in that moment of like, oh, I just saw my friend's husband's stick. Am I supposed we're acting like this isn't happening, we're this, we're that, we're whatever. And then she tells her friend, and her friend makes it like it's her problem, which is wild. You're just like, wow. That is like a Louis C.K., Harvey Weinstein moment.
Right.
And and then it's just like, oh, get out of the Hamptons. I'm like, wow. So yeah, that was definitely, I was like, ooh, yeah. Ooh, that's not looking the way that we'd want to see that handled.
Okay. What is your personal opinion on that? Do you think the husband is at fault? 100%?
Yeah. I mean, so if you step out of the bathroom and your friend's husband's there with his dick out, like, there's no reason why that's to do with you. Now, let's talk witchy world norms. Like, let's just be frank. Like, nudities, it depends on where you are and whatever, but like a lot of our festivals are clothing optional. A lot of people are personally nudist, which is not related to their witchiness, but the witchy community is really open. So, I mean, I've definitely seen my friends' penises. Like, let's be real. So I always have to kind of remember, like, okay, realign yourself to normal world reality. And then, like, the other thing in the pagan community is that it's not a ton, but I'd say it's definitely way more than the mainstream community is polyamory too. Like, I have a lot of friends who are in open marriages or open arrangements. So in the certain context, would I be shocked to see my friend's dick before breakfast? No. There are plenty of friends where it would be a very innocent, like, I'm just walking naked around my house, having a cup of, like, that would not be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But this, in this context, it's like a sex crime. It's like a flasher. It's consent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Lucy just mentioned consent. Like, so if I know I'm in a naked house and I walk out, I'm like, oh, there's a dick. You know, it's not a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just in average everyday life, you walk out, that's like a flasher on the street or like a cat call. Like, your being a woman didn't mean that you deserved it or invited it. And it doesn't really matter, even if she was being like how she was telling her little sexy story at dinner and whatever. Like, that's not an invitation to whip your dick out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I mean, yeah. What intrigued me about the interaction is how the wife is kind of like mortified, and I wonder what the like. But then when Carrie was telling the story, saying that she like hurry her back to Manhattan, so then the mortifiedness, is it about which kind of agrees on what Carrie is saying, that is she worried that I'm gonna sleep with your husband? Because your mortifiedness should be like, oh my God, I cannot believe my husband did that. Or
Right.
oh God, you know what, he's a nudist, you know, he does that
No,
to every single guest.
sorry, we should have told you. That's how we roll here.
Yeah. But the simple action of her shooting like Carrie back to Manhattan, that kind of actually, you know, waited, leaning into like, like her husband doing this on purpose.
Right. It seems like it might not be the first time something like that has happened, also by her reaction, because she's like, he did what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I think about my ex-husband, because he was darling, right? If you would have told me, or if any of my friends would have been like, oh, I saw your husband's dick this morning. Like, you would be like, what? How? Oh my gosh, why? What's going on? Are you okay? Is he okay?
Oh,
like,
I will be 100% okay, because
I know, right?
Your ex-husband is deliciously. I wish that I would have woke up and saw him. Hello there. Remember when I was in such hell? Remember I was like, I have to be on your couch because I was so effed up because of my personal drama with my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
I wake up to that, I'll be like, oh, that is such a comfort.
So it's a reason to live. You've been like, I already knew about the abs. Now there's this. Okay.
Oh, so great, so great. Your husband is a trooper. He did it just for me. I thank you. I wonder if he's actually gonna watch this. They'll be like, if you're watching, you can come over and show it anytime. I'm single and available.
That would be the best plot twist in my life. Because I remember when I told you, I don't remember if I was like, I left him or whatever, and you were like, so is he single? I was like, that would be the best plot twist in my life if you two got together. He's unfortunately too straight, but like, I was like,
wait a second. Maybe it is a sign from the universe. Remember this episode when Carrie bumped into the Broadway dancer, and then the Broadway dancer is like, "No, before I'm engaged with my honey." 6 months later, when I bump into you on the street, you'll be like, "You? Hi?" I'm like, "Yeah." Remember that episode we did for Hacks in the City? She texted me, and we are registered in Barney's. We would like to have your eggs. Full circle.
That would be the best plot twist in my life. I would be like, this memoir is writing itself. Like, I don't really need to even do any work. It's just, I would love that.
Everybody get their wish. He will have a baby with you, with your egg. I will have a loving husband. And you can go on your merry way.
Go on my merry way and travel and do all the things I want to do.
It is a strange way how the universe works out. Thank you. Speaking, I speak into an existence. Stamp it, staple it, come my way. Thank you. Call me. You're watching. I know that you're watching.
I'm gonna get the best text messages today. I'll be like, oh, are you guys okay?
This is the best, plot. My evil, plotting to win your husband from the start. They're like, my spell is working. All right, back to Sex and the City. This is having too much fun.
I know we are. So if we go back to this whole thing about this is very interesting and relevant.
Mm-hmm.
This concept of like how you relate to your married friends versus your single friends. And there's something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Like, what's your experience? Do you feel like some of these divides, or I guess maybe the suspicious part, maybe not so much. No,
not so much. My experience with because with married couple, like straight married couple, they like the only thing that they need to worry about is me sleeping with their husband, and most of them are, they're like, he's whatever. If you sleep with him, great, go right ahead, right?
Right, yeah.
And then the other way, if me and my other, like with the gay married friend, I don't have a lot of like married couple friends that are gay, so maybe one or two, and they're so chill about it. Like I don't, and we never talk about singleness. I think we all kind of rejoice, kind of like, oh, remember back then when we go to the clubs. Rather, it's not like, I guess my sexual escapade, they still enjoy hearing it, but they don't. It's not like how it is in that episode.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole thing, like dating all genders in theory. I haven't checked them all off the box yet, but I mean, I'm open to whatever. It's like that whole thing about friendship is so weird to me. They're like, well, you can't be friends with men. I was like, okay, cool. Then I can't be friends with women either then? Like, I can't be friends with anyone because I could sleep with any of them. So like that doesn't, so some of that to me is weird. I'm like, yeah.
Lucy,
I feel like for me,
this is also kind of a more now point of view, which is I don't know, like half of it, most of it is true because most of my gay couples are open, so they're like whatever. Yeah, and guilty. I have slept with plenty married men. Horrible. I'm horrible. Moving on. Moving on. Don't
it's okay, Samantha. It's fine. We won't have to have a meltdown at the party.
Don't at me. I'm literally Samantha in the party. Like if any of you, I'll be like, yep, I slept with him. Oh, him. Yes, slept with him also. Oh, that one? Yep. Outside in the car. Yep. Horrible.
Oh.
Okay, I do want to ask you an opinion. Have you gotten the poor single you look before you married your husband?
I think I was too young because I was just 26 when I got married. So we dated when I was 21 to 25. So no, and plus I was in a relationship. So I didn't really get that, like, oh.
So you were never like super single, like, or were you always like have a boyfriend?
No. High school and college, no. I had some Samantha-ness and some overlapping
Mm-hmm.
and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So I had sort of a boyfriend before I could maybe say was a boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
but like everything else before that was shenanigans. So that was kind of my. So he was kind of my first real serious relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't really get that. Like, do you remember Bridget Jones' Diary?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that moment where the couples are like, hello, hello, hello. And then she's like sitting all alone at the head of the table. And they're
Uh-huh.
like, what's it? Why are you single or whatever? So, no, I didn't really experience that until, I mean, after the divorce a little bit.
Okay.
I remember I had a, I thought of Bridget Jones instead of Sex and the City at the time. This was like right before COVID. I was at a birthday party. So I went to a good friend, went to her birthday party. It was karaoke, it was whatever. We're all having a good time. I went by myself, and when I looked around, I was like, I had that everyone's in couples. Like everyone's coupled up. And so, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's not like, it was weird though. It was weird because it's like you're talking to people. I didn't get that experience of people like pulling me away from their guy or anything, but like I definitely felt a spotlight and an energy.
Constantly. That's how I always felt. Even though I don't have the poor single you look given
Mm-hmm.
onto me. But I always feel like, yep, I'm the single girl in the party once again. What's new?
Mm-hmm.
And I always kind of have that. It never is like like I don't want to say never, but it's always like you are so cute. How can you be single? I always got that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not so much the poor single you look, but more like confused single you look.
Right.
You are so
You?
talented. How can you
You're
be
so
single?
interesting. I
And I'm like,
know.
why are you asking me? Because I don't have the answer.
I would date me, so ask all the people who aren't dating me.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so this is the other thing that I kind of want to talk about. If you have any points that you want to
Yeah.
talk, you want to jump in, go ahead and jump in. But when Carrie said that, about choosing to choose to grow up, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like I do have somewhat of the Peter Pan syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Like my idea is like, oh, look at, but it's the self-reflection of something. I don't know what that something is, because I'm thinking, oh, look at all my married friends. They're all coupled up. They're all being a grown up. And look at me. I am the Peter Pan going back and forth the Neverland. And
Mm-hmm.
when will I grow up? Even I would say that to myself, which is
Right.
which means something, right? There's some kind of shadow work that I need to deal with, right? In a way, then I'm like, do I need to just find even Wendy grew up in a way, but
Right.
she really grew up just because she's married and have a family, right? So that's one thing that I'm kind of like, do I need to cross that threshold of being mature so that I can get a guy? Or that's completely BS.
There's definitely a societal pressure. So there's like I remember feeling like because I didn't want to get married like ever. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
sort of opposed to the institution in theory, like not in practice. Like I support everybody's choices, but like for me, I was like, no, I didn't want to change my last name. I didn't want to get married. And then I kind of had a freak out. I had like a 25 years quarter life crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I guess we can do it. And he, of course he proposed within like forever, like super quick. Cause he wanted, it's something that he wanted. And it's definitely a big step in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But is it growing up? Not, I don't know if it is any more than any of these other things that we expect of ourselves, going to school. I also like, for me, it's really the whole not having kids thing
Mm-hmm.
that makes
Oh.
me, I know. Like I almost feel, for me personally, I wrote this down too. I was like, I don't really have any weirdness or drama with my married friends
Mm-hmm.
versus my single friends. But there's a difference between my friends who don't have kids and my friends who do have kids.
Correct.
For me, that pressure is way stronger. Like, then I get defensive about it too. Because I'm like, I'm a grown up just because I don't have kids.
Right.
People kind of have a perspective, yeah.
Right. Is the implication like what do you mean, like, is having a child, having a husband doesn't mean that you are grown up, but then the pressure is still there in a very strange way, which is it, maybe it's society, maybe is what is depicted on television, like, like, why do we put that on ourselves also? Because I don't, right, it is merely our own kind of reflection on it, right?
Right. It's because we internalize all these things, I think. Like it's an outside pressure, but we internalize it.
Right. Trust. I relate why. This is from Drew. Being an Aquarius. Thank you so much, fellow Aquarius. I never felt shame in being single, but I also longed prior to my boyfriend to be in a relationship. I was always the, but you're so cute guy. And my response, so?
And yeah, I'm cute and I'm single. Those things don't have anything to do with each other.
Oh,
yeah, I get it.
Lucy said, in my opinion, you need certain maturity for a relationship, but depends on what kind of relationship you want. You need self-love at all times. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, self-love.
Yeah.
What
and
else?
I'll say, like, getting married doesn't fix that. If you have a thing about, like, I'm not good enough, and again, my ex was a doll. It's not like he was being mean to me. I'm just saying, like, a doll. But if you have, we know. But if you, but like I had some emptiness, and I think I always will have a little emptiness, but I'm trying to fill it with cats.
Okay, I'm trying to fill it with tarot. Same thing.
There we go. But there were still things, like I remember very vividly, I set an intention one year. My word was contentment. And I was talking to some women. I was at a sisterhood circle, witchy business. And I was like, my word for the year is content. Because I'm like, I look around at my life and I'm like, I'm married. We just bought a house. I just got a really good job. I had it now, right? Like I'm all grown up. I have all the things, and I look around at my things and my people, and I'm like, I love all these people and these things, and this house and this stuff, but I'm not happy, and that's like an inside job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I feel like that when I watch Charlotte and like how much she wants to get married, and I'm like, girl, yours not. Yeah, of course your life is super different because it just is. Like you have to consult someone with all the things that you do and all of that. It changes your lifestyle a ton, but it doesn't change you if there's something you want. So it's like, maybe for some people it does. Like maybe there are some women, men, and other out there, and they're like, I want a relationship. That's the thing that's going to fix me. And then they get in a relationship and they're like, oh, it's all good now. Like maybe there are people out there like that, but that wasn't my experience. My experience was that I still had depression. I still had drama. I still had addictions. Like I still had all my things. I did have somebody with me. So that was nice, you know, but like it didn't fix any of me.
Yeah. It's understandable. Because we always have that fear also, like even though we don't need to be fixed, but at the same time, you know, like the idea of like having someone will complete me.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of, which is a weird.
If you're like, and you're really prideful, there's also this thing like it's just almost a status because you're like, well, that person thinks I'm awesome enough to marry, so you know, like it's like it is like you kind of proved something to yourself.
Yeah. But, okay, I have all my talking points. Sleeping with married men, the poor single me love, and choose to be grow up. What are all the other talking points that you have?
Oh, I thought it was super interesting, the whole Miranda lesbian side plot. Knowing now that Cynthia Nixon, I forget, I think she identifies as bisexual. I know she's been in relationships with women now. Post Sex in the City or kind of towards the end of the show, maybe. So I thought that was just really interesting to watch. Just know, and just as an actor, I'm just like wondering how she was going through and processing that as a character.
The duality of it. Yeah.
While being closeted. So it's like a weird double closet. I'm like, yeah, that would be an interesting thing to process through.
Which I think is a good segue because I'm so brilliant. Thank you. Are you out? How many of you well, there's two questions. How many of you in the chat are single or married? Please comment. If you're single, put number 1. If you're double, put number 2. And how many of you are in the closet, in the tarot closet, or in the witchy closet?
Oh my gosh, so many closets.
So, well, for me, I'm out of all closet. I'm out of all closet. Everybody knows that I'm gay. Everybody knows that I read tarot. Everybody knows that I am probably a witch, and I think I'm a witch. So I'm all out of it. I don't have a coven. I don't have like any brotherhood, sisterhood, or whatever.
Which you don't need to have, unless you want.
A self-made witch. So that's my story. What about you?
I guess it's complicated. Like
it's complicated.
I couldn't help but wonder, what does it mean to be out of the closet? Just because like it's, for me, it's really situational because I present very feminine. So a lot of people would assume that I'm straight. A lot of people do assume that I'm straight, even in queer spaces. And then, so like sometimes I guess I'm not out, or I'll be out to I'll think that I'm out to someone and then they're surprised. I was like, oh yeah, I went on this date with this girl, whatever. And they're like, record scratch. You went on a date with a girl? I was like, yeah, that's the thing that I do. So yeah. So yeah, let me think. Witchiness, it's kind of a need to know basis. Like I'm not in a closet, but I don't talk about it a ton. Like I don't, like people at work, I don't talk about religion at work, really. A few people here and there.
So you and Lucy is basically the same.
Yeah. And I'd say that, I mean, I'm single. I am like sort of black and white about singleness. I'm like, I filed my taxes single. I'm single. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm in a relationship, but I'm not married. Like, I'm single.
It's complicated.
It's complicated. That should be a quick answer. You're like, yeah, I'm out of the closet and I'm single. I'm like, well, I mean,
Maybe that's what I should say. Everybody's like, but you're so cute. How can you be single? Well, it's complicated.
I couldn't help but wonder, what does it even mean to be single?
We can actually, you can answer every single thing with that sentence, with that answer. So how old are you? Well, it's complicated. Do you have
that's a great thing to say. It's to that question. People are like, are you a vampire? I'm like, are we talking about my chronological age? Are we talking about?
Yeah, because then we can go into, what do you mean complicated? Well, time is a construct. So what do you mean it's complicated? Do we need to do some math? Because time is a construct, but then numbers is universal. How can you explain about that? Language, number, yes. Time, number, yes. So is it complicated? I think so. That answers the question. That's why you are single, because you are crazy.
You're like, sir, this is the DMV. Like, just please put the number on the form.
That's a Saturday Night character right there. What do you mean?
It's complicated.
It's complicated. Lady Knight of Avalon said, relationship question. Well, still complicated. Let's see. Only my family and close friend know I am a witch. Nicole, single, asexual, a romantic witch and tarot. We have welcome all.
All the things.
Lucy said, look at you, why? Absolutely. Time is just a construct. I believe I'm a witch that has been like, I believe I'm going to be like 9,000. Yeah. It's just a number. I'm a number. I'm a number. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There we go. There was a great moment in the episode that I thought was really relevant to us where Charlotte's talking about Sean's place, and she's like, oh, nobody buys that kind of apartment unless they're ready to get married. And she says, some people read palms. Charlotte reads real estate. And I was like, oh, man.
That's what we do. We don't read real estate, but we with the first one. Palm, tarot, whatever.
Tarot, all the things. Do you have anything like that you can think of that like some people, like they look at people's shoes or they look at people's nails or they look at people's cars or houses or something?
Fashion, yeah.
Yeah, just in general, like how are you put together?
Yeah, people read fashion and I read tarot. Because they can't read me because my fashion sense are like hobo chic. I'm never really the high end, label queen. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Is this the episode where? No. Is it Lucy asked?
Yeah, Lucy was just asking, is this the episode where Charlotte gets the tarot reading? And no, she doesn't.
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
45 minutes in. Do you still have? This is one thing that since we're talking about Charlotte, I put down American Classic.
Oh yes, I loved that.
This French.
I loved that.
What would your deal breaker be? I'll be like witchy chic or minimalism. I'll be like minimalism. No thanks. More, better, more.
I don't know if the current boy is going to be watching this, but in the spirit of Carrie Bradshaw oversharing her personal life, I'll say that I had a moment. I had a moment like that. So I was visiting the Cleveland boy, and he's putting away laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Why him? This man does not fold his clothes.
And your point?
Okay, so he hangs the nice ones up and he puts them in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. T-shirts, shorts
Uh-huh.
do not get folded. They get just put into a drawer.
Uh-huh.
Stuffed into a drawer.
Uh-huh.
Such that 2 drawers cannot be closed.
Okay. Cannot be closed will be a problem. Not folding the clothes is fine. Not.
That is chaos.
Why?
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we end the episode. We will never come back to do Sex and the City episode 4. I mean, I am in the middle. I fold my clothes. I fold my jeans and pants. But like my sleepwear, I just throw it in the, well, let's put it that way. Anything that nobody will sees me wear, I will just shove it in there. Anything that I will actually wear outside, I will fold it.
Okay, so that's kind of his thought process. Like it was like the things you just wear around the house.
Oh, girl.
They're just sort of thrown in there. Like they're not like layered on top of each. They're just like kind of put in there. I'm not even towels. Okay, he doesn't fold towels either. He just throws them into a shelf.
Well, I think that's a fine line. Maybe you just talk to him about like where your standard is. I don't know if I can live with someone that are that chaotic. If my principle is that if I don't see it, that's fine. If my lover partner shove everything into a drawer and close it and it can close, great. Make sure that you iron your shirt before we go out for dinner. That's all I ask for.
Right.
Filling out, if the towel is like over the door, everything, if my living space that I can actually see chaos, that will be a problem for me. But the
weird thing is like if you could see my apartment, it's like destroyed. Like you can just see how messy this is, right? Like that's my shelf. And then like there's all my junk from when I'm like unpacking and whatever from my trip. So I don't know why, but it's like that particular thing. I was just like, you don't fold your clothing?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like we come to a very pivotal moment in this podcast. Clearly, either me have some shadow work to do or you have some shadow work to do.
I did. Because here's the thing. I like calmed down about it, but I was like, why is this a thing? And then maybe, maybe. Okay. Does he put them in layers or is it just a mess? It's just a mess inside the drawers.
Lucy said it's just a waste of time. I agree with that. Unless I need to, I don't know. It's a waste of time if you see it this way. If they fold it and then, they go out and it's like beautifully perfect, you don't have to iron it. That saves time, right? Because if all my clothes are cold, then I have to spend time to iron it before I go out. Then, it's like 50-50. Drew said, I prefer the order folded, but I'll admit it takes me forever to transition from out of the dryer to put away and fold it.
Right.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Well, it's almost 50 minutes. Shall we do our final little game?
Yes.
Play, which is this. Why don't you? I have to I have to be excused for a hot moment.
Yeah,
you take over for.
Okay, so this portion of the show, we choose 3 characters from this episode. They can be any characters. They can be, gender doesn't matter. And we choose 3, and then we have to decide, would we cleanse this person, bless this person, or hex this person? And out of those 3, you can only do 1 with each one. Okay, so it's like the game F, Marry, Kill if you've ever played before, right? So like for an example, which we haven't done the sacred for, but let's do that for example's sake. I could say, okay, Samantha, Charlotte, Miranda. We'll leave Carrie out of it, right? Samantha, Charlotte, Miranda. And then you have to say, okay, of these 3 people, which is the one I'm going to cleanse? Which is the one I'm going to bless? And which is the one I'm going to hex? Which out of those 3, oh my gosh. I always go with Mary first.
Right on time. So
perfect timing. I just explained it. What's your thought process with cleanse, bless, hex? Do you have like a certain like I always think of Mary first because I'm like, that's the one that I'm going to be stuck with. So I have to be really okay with that one. Oh, and then the other 2, what's that?
Like the choosing process?
Yeah.
I'm very instinctive.
You just kind of go with it.
Yep.
Some people choose who they want to kill first.
Yeah.
But I'm not. No, I'm like, no, I want to know like, who am I really in for the long haul? Who am I have to be putting up with for a while? And then I figure the other 2 out.
Nope. I'm not. You're a Taurus. I'm but my choosing is Aquarius, but my reasoning is Capricorn.
This is the Capricorn.
Yep. My reasoning will be very like
practicality.
Yep.
And this is why. Yeah. And there it is.
Yep. Thank you. Okay. So who do you have?
I didn't write mine down this time. Then so I'm going to say them out loud so that the people know that I'm not saying after you say, because last 2 episodes we picked the same people. Mm-hmm. So I picked, I forget his name. It's fine. Sean.
Okay.
Peter.
Uh-huh.
And Miss Saigon actor guy.
Okay, so this episode we have a little different. I picked Peter.
I almost said Sid. When I was driving home, I was thinking, but I was like, I don't know.
Sid.
Because what is Y gonna say about Sid? I was trying to keep it to boys. Oh my gosh.
I'm open. I
know. I should have. Okay.
So tell the audience, Peter is the showing dick.
Peter is the penis guy. Sid is Miranda's accidental lesbian date that she gets set up with, because we didn't really talk about this one. So Peter's the one with the penis. Like they all have a penis, I imagine. But Sid is the one that, so Miranda gets set up on a date and she thinks it's a guy named Sid, but it's a woman because they think she's a lesbian. Which is very cute. And then there's Sean, who is Mr. Super intense commitment guy.
Yep, just want to get married
I want to get married. I've known you for 1 week. Come meet all my friends, and I want to
dating Carrie and all those stuff. So who would you cleanse? Who would you bless? And who would you hex? And audience in the chat, go ahead. You can comment. These are my choices.
Okay.
Yours is like the. We'll do both. We'll do both.
Okay. So why don't I start talking?
I do yours first.
You're gonna do mine?
Yeah, with your Saigon selection, Saigon guy, Peter guy, and Sean guy.
And Sean.
I would say for me, I would hex the Saigon person. Hack them like, you want my egg? Bye. You want my sperm? Bye. Hack. Right. Go away. Be gone. Last will be Sean because he is the married material. And then because Peter has peppermill sized steak, I would totally bless him. I would totally cleanse him.
Give him a cleanse. He
I would
needs some help.
I would cleanse that peppermill shaker a little bit, you know.
Give it a little bit. Fun fact for those of you interested in witchcraft, that black pepper is often used in hexes and curses. So there's a ingredient that you will often have on hand if you're the cursing type. Okay. Yeah. The Miss Saigon guy, he was in the play Miss Saigon. And I'm just answering a question because if you guys are like, oh, that guy. So it's the one where, so Carrie and Stanford are walking down the street and they run into this gay couple, one of which maybe Carrie dated or she knew before he was dating men. Okay, yeah. Knew.
Yeah.
And then he asks her to donate an egg. Like, oh, we already have a surrogate, but we need a high quality egg.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, nice to see you too on the street. Hex. I mean, that's not how I would have chosen.
How would you choose yours?
Out of mine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Okay. So it's Miss Saigon guy, Sean, and Peter. Okay. So normally, Sean gives me the willies. That's not my jam.
Okay.
Like somebody who's that into getting married within a week, they want to get married. They don't want to get married to me.
Okay.
And so that's just, I'm not into that.
Okay.
I'm not into that. But given my other two options, which I don't think I could handle either of them, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'll say I will hex them all. So I'll bless now. Okay, so I'll bless Sean.
Uh-huh.
And then it's coming down to who would I cleanse and who would I hex? I don't know. The Peter thing creeps me out too much. I'm gonna have to hex him. So I'm gonna cleanse Miss Saigon, and we'll see how that goes for both of us.
Done. What about this?
Okay, so if my choices are Peter,
will you stay blessing Peter, or will you bless? Will you stay? I'm pretty sure you're gonna keep hexing Peter in this scenario.
Yes, I am gonna keep hexing Peter in this scenario. But now let's be real. I need to take a step back. Like, I don't know very much about Sid from this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Good-looking person.
Such a Taurus.
Seems fun and nice enough, I guess. So the Sean overly anxious, desperate vibe is not for me. So I'm going to have to say on this one, I'm going to bless Sid and cleanse Sean. And maybe that'll help him out. Maybe that will let him see that his single life is not that bad.
Miss Taurus, I agree. I will hex Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, you know, with this scenario, I would cleanse Sid.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I'm curious. I'm always up for, you know, an exploration. Why not?
Right.
And then I will still bless Sean.
There we go.
At the end of the day, there's a part of Charlotte in me.
There's a little Charlotte in there.
That's desperately want to.
But when he looks at your tarot decks and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have to get rid of some of these tarot decks in my apartment," be like, "And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good day."
Let's see. What do they say? Lucy said, "Cleanse Peter." Okay, so same as me. Bless said, "Oh, really? A stable blessing relationship with Sid and hex Sean." Too much. Well, I think Peter was, you know, with that equipment. I mean, how can we not? She also mentioned that she's gonna cleanse Miranda, bless Charlotte, and bless Samantha. Now that is a big blessing Samantha. That's huge. But I do believe
Have fun. I mean, if you can do it,
you can do. If anybody can do it, you can do it, Lucy. I
do it.
trust. I trust. All right. I think that's it. What else? Miss Sack just came in. Tigers of Bliss just came in and say sorry you are late. And yes, you are late. We are closing. We're an hour in already. We're closing. Oh, your ex-husband just texted me.
Oh my gosh! If only. If only.
Well, I just got a text from a straight male friend.
Oh.
Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
A straight male friend. That's on my side. And on that note, oh, so naughty, so bad. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you all those who keep supporting this cute little episode series that we are doing, Hacks in the City. Shout out to all those who stay for a whole hour. Hector, Lucy, I don't know who else. If you stay in during this whole time, comment down below. Shout out to you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Next time, we don't know. Maybe next Friday, we'll see. And we'll go on season 1, episode 4.
Perfect.
Season 1, episode 4. And then what else is here I need to do? Oh dear.
He's anxious.
I know my strict friend is like, I'm watching you right now. Remember Miss Brilliant, Miss Beautiful, Stella Speak. You can find her on podcasts. Where are the on iPod? No,
I'm on. Yep. So if you have Apple products, it's on the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, and Podbean.
Ding ding ding. And I am on the Cusp Tarot. You know who I am. If you're listening, you need to get this shit onto your podcast so that your podcast people will come over here. Thank you.
I know.
Well, you brought Drew. Drew, thank you, Drew. Thank you for coming here. Remember to subscribe. Push the subscribe button right now. Turn on
then you get and click the notification, because then it'll tell you when we're gonna go live, because we scheduled ahead of time.
Thank you. Ding 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 ding. Subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. And last but not least, our closing statement.
Blessed be, bitches.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Blessed be.